Whitestown.
News with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
And good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve McMurray.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
We've got a lot to get to this morning, but we want to get a check of the forecast first. And yesterday was a gorgeous day, and we hope you remember it because the next few, not so much.
Yeah, keep that in your memories as we head into the next few days because we're talking about rain showers, rain and snow, wintry mix, just blah type weather. And no typical April showers bring May flowers, but what about April showers and April wintry mix and April snow?
I don't know what they bring.
I'm not sure what they bring, but yeah, we're
frustration. I think it's.
I think maybe frustration for some people who are itching to get that warmer weather, but it's not going to quite arrive just yet this week. A look at the radar right now. We are seeing light rain starting to fall in some locations south. The majority of this morning and early this afternoon does end up being dry, but that's not quite the case as we head into tonight as more rain develops primarily south of Route 20 and I-90, while areas north remain mostly dry. You can see here clouds are going to be dominant today, and unlike yesterday, they're not going to be going away. They're going to be sticking around all day long, and over the next 12 hours, you can see clouds give way to some light rain. Then as we head into tomorrow, rain becomes a little bit more widespread and a little bit more heavy as winds pick up as well. And then following that, tomorrow night is where we could be seeing tricky travel situations as the rain switches over to sleet, then snow in some spots. We're going to talk about the potential accumulations, the potential impacts, and when the highest impacts of travel come to an end. That full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Well, new this morning, Decision 2024 poll.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. Time now is 5:12. Time for your morning Munson commute cast. Let's take a look at road conditions to and from work today. First off, we'll look at those drive times. If we're heading along I-90 and the arterial, Verona to Utica, 17 minutes. Little Falls to Utica, 21 minutes. A 5 or so minute drive on the arterial between Route 790 and 840. 5S, Utica to Mohawk and back around 17 to 18 minutes. And then finally, Utica to Rome on Route 49, around 11-minute drive. Average speed around 60 or so miles per hour. And then in Otsego County, from Cooperstown to I-90, roughly just over half-hour drive time at this point. And then Route 12 heading up north or south from Remsen to Utica, right around 16 to 17 minutes. No accidents to report. And of course, those road conditions are looking pretty okay this morning under dry weather. But as we head into this afternoon and this evening, some light rain develops, not enough to produce any impacts to travel. Our real attention turns to what to expect for tomorrow night and into Thursday. That looks to be the highest impact the weather will have on travel. We'll talk a little about that in that full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. 1 out of every 36 people have.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Today, looking a little bit more unsettled than yesterday. Yesterday was absolutely fantastic following noontime with all that sun shining and temperatures in the upper 50s. Today, a little cooler with more stubborn clouds that will likely not whisk away at all. Live look at downtown Utica, overcast skies, dry weather, temperatures in the 30s in a lot of spots, currently 38 degrees with clear skies. Some locations seeing mostly cloudy skies as more clouds move in throughout the morning and early afternoon. Winds a bit calm, but those winds will pick up as we head throughout the remainder of the day today, and especially with windy conditions expected tomorrow. Sunrise time at 6:45, sunset after 7:30. So we are getting those later sunsets and earlier sunrises as well. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Almost entirely quiet here across central New York, but turning our attention to the south, we are tracking widespread rainfall. This system will not impact us immediately, but then as warm air gets surged in from a south wind, that'll drag in those rain showers later on this evening and tonight. Again, we're looking at more widespread rain arriving by tomorrow. What to expect timeline over the next few days? Well, we've got rain developing late afternoon today. No major travel issues. On Wednesday, rain continues mixing in with sleet and snow later on tomorrow night. That would cause tricky travel along those hilltops while the valleys are still well above freezing. A different story for Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. That's when there's a rain and snow mixture. Could see freezing rain, sleet, and snow in a lot of locations. That's our best chance of seeing tricky travel. So the heads up for those of you heading out Wednesday night into early Thursday. That's going to be the timing of where the worst of the system will develop. And the bigger picture, we can see that rain surging in from the southwest, immediately not impacting our location until this evening and tonight, when that strong south wind pushes north, bringing at least a few scattered rain showers. More widespread rain arrives tomorrow afternoon from a strong low pressure. And as we mentioned yesterday, this low pressure out here will weaken and transfer energy to a nor'easter off the coast, and that will drag in a lot more moisture from the Atlantic, as well as drag in those cooler temperatures, which will cause that rain to switch over to eventual snow showers by the early morning hours Thursday. We can see here, following Thursday morning, the snow gradually weakens and we start to dry out by Thursday afternoon. And so in our skycast, you can see here more closely, rain arriving initially this evening, then overnight tonight, scattered rain before more widespread rain arrives on Wednesday. Temperatures still hovering in the upper 30s. Then that rain, it mixes in with sleet, freezing rain, and eventual snow showers. And overall, not looking at a whole lot of impacts in the lowest elevations, but this is a largely elevation-based storm, so 6 inches or more possible in the Adirondack region. Next 12 hours, 40s with clouds and light rain developing tonight. Back down into the upper 30s with widespread scattered rain showers. And your 7-day forecast, it's pretty unsettled over the next few days. April showers for Tuesday, Wednesday, April rain and snow showers Thursday and Friday, lingering into parts of Saturday. But look at all this. Bill and I were mentioning how much of we're fighting against the odds for nice weather for the eclipse. And look at all that rain. And then as soon as the eclipse arrives, we've got dry weather.
All right, let's. We'll have to hope that holds out. Again, look it up for the next few days. Got a sort of a messy stuff, and be careful. Wednesday to Thursday, or actually Wednesday night is when folks really want to focus on what's going on. So keep an eye on that, and then hopefully it all gets out of here in time for next Monday. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, Utica's famous half moons are
News with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us this half hour. I'm Steve McMurray.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And some good news for you. Talked to Gary yesterday. He's feeling a little bit better, and he hopes to be back with us, actually in the building in the next couple of days, probably back on the air, hopefully at some point next week. So Gary's recuperation continues, so we're looking forward to getting you back.
Yeah, and obviously, for those that don't have never met Gary, but overall just haven't met him before, just a great newsroom presence, just someone that you just want to have next to you.
It'd be good to get him back. And I like hanging out with you in the morning, but I wouldn't be.
I figured out really an early bird. So.
Well, I'm not. I'm getting there. I am getting there.
I got there a little bit too. I was not really an early bird, but the early birds will actually, we have that. Those weather photos coming in a few minutes. Ben gave a good idea for the name of it, early birds. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Perfect. But the weather out there this morning, temperatures still in the 30s with mostly dry weather. We're tracking just some light rain developing south of central New York. Most of that is not quite reaching our local area just yet, but that will be the case as we head into this evening and tonight. A live satellite view, we can see that those clouds are continuing to move in, and unlike yesterday, these clouds are not going to whisk away during the evening hours. It remains, in fact, a little bit more unsettled as we approach 2 to 6 p.m. as clouds give way to some light rain showers. Following this, we're tracking scattered to widespread light rain tonight, getting heavier at times. Then by Wednesday, better chance for widespread rain. Then Wednesday night, that rain will gradually switch over to sleet and then snow. We'll talk about the impacts and the potential accumulations with that straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. New this morning, a major escalation.
Well, Welcome back. Time now is 5:43, and of course it's time to showcase our weather photo of the day on this Tuesday. And keeping with the theme of our local birds as we enter springtime, a great photo submitted to us in Rome of a very adorable bluebird couple. You see both the male and female there, right there on your screen. Again, great shot submitted by folks in Rome. If you want to submit a photo like this one, head to the link on the top of your screen right there, wktv.com/weather/pics. I'm going to include a few more bird pictures and then, of course, head straight back to all the fantastic weather shots you guys have submitted from all across central New York, where we showcase how beautiful this region is here locally. Current conditions on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Alive radar, almost entirely dry, but it's a bit cloudy out there, at least for the areas south, and we'll continue to see mostly cloudy, if not overcast skies throughout the day, with a better chance for some light rain arriving this evening and tonight. We're talking about still unsettled weather as we approach tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. We'll have more about that in that full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
Eric, thanks. A large group of people gathered tonight.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. After a beautiful afternoon yesterday, we are entering a bit of a more unsettled stretch starting today and then lingering until around Friday and Saturday. So we're going to be dealing with a lot more clouds, a lot more rain, and eventually a little bit of snow in the second half of the week. Downtown Utica right now, it's dry, it's quiet, it's cool. Temperatures in the 30s at this point, officially 38 degrees at Griffiths. Still reporting clear skies up in Rome, but as you look to the south, looking at, well, over cloudy skies here in the local area. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Alive radar, almost entirely quiet and dry, but our attention to the south brings with it some rain showers, which will initially not reach us here in central New York, but after a strong south wind, this will push this over our area this evening and tonight, bringing initially light rain before becoming a bit more on the widespread and steady side heading into tomorrow. We're talking about active weather over the next few days, and here's a bit of a timeline of what to expect and when the worst of travel impacts take place. Today, no major travel issues. We got rain developing. It stays as rain aside from very isolated areas on hilltops. Tomorrow, rain continues to move in, this time a little bit more heavy, and this will cause some tricky travel on those hilltops. Still, the valleys are too warm to have any snow or any wintry mix develop. But Wednesday night, rain and snow mix, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, along with rain showers, could cause widespread tricky travel in some spots. Again, lowest elevations might still stay as rain, but there is such a fine line with elevations, roughly 1,000 to 1,200 feet, where as you go above that, things get a little bit on the dicey side with slick roads. Bigger picture, here comes the rain. Initially, on the lighter side, areas south will see that rain before it sweeps up north. And then that surge of moisture bring widespread rain Wednesday afternoon. Low pressure to the west, as we mentioned yesterday, weakens and then strengthens off the coast of the northeast, turning rain over to snow as it brings in more moisture and drags in more cold air from the north. The snow will eventually come to an end as we're tracking just some spotty light snow showers heading into Thursday and Friday. But our skycast, you can see here more locally, initially light rain is scattered and overnight, and then by tomorrow, more widespread rain surges in from the south. That will eventually mix in with sleet, freezing rain, and eventually snow showers by the overnight hours, Wednesday into Thursday. This is the time we're having the trickiest travel. You can see here, things will improve for the most part as we head throughout the afternoon and evening on Thursday. Now, how much snow are we talking? Again, this is an elevation-based system, so you go higher up in the hilltops, you'll see a lot more snow. 1 to 3 in the lowest elevations. We might drag the dark blue a little bit closer to I-90 on those hilltops just south of the Mohawk Valley, but again, the main story is areas north near the Adirondacks will see the most snow. Next 12 hours, 40s with clouds giving way to light rain, and then tonight, light rain becomes a bit more steady and scattered with temperatures in the low 40s to upper 30s. 7-day forecast, feeling a little bit more like early March with temperatures in the 30s with a mixture of rain and snow lingering into Saturday. But beyond that, so far, so good with the cloud cover for Sunday and into Monday. Fingers crossed we get good clearing for the eclipse.
All right, have to check that out as we get closer. Thanks a lot, Eric. Well, universities are sounding the alarm. They can't process financial
News with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve McMurray.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
And if you didn't hear me at the beginning, the polls open now for the presidential primary in New York State. I lost my place there and didn't know what I was talking about. Hey, also, I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you like first?
Let's just start with the bad news first.
All right, so the bad news is you, nor me, nor you won the Powerball last night.
Yeah.
The good news? Nobody did. So the jackpot went up.
Actually, I have.
He did win it. He's gone. See ya.
I have my ticket right here. You guys can see it. I've got not a single number right on this thing. I've never gotten a single number correct. I don't know what
At
my
least
luck
you're
is.
consistent.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I can find a way to get none of them right. Maybe get all of them right. You know.
There you never know. Well, the next drawing is Wednesday. We'll get to that later in the show. How about some other numbers that you do get right a lot, and that is the weather.
Yeah, and those temperatures this morning, a bit cold, similar to yesterday, temperatures in the 30s, a live look at those current conditions right now. But before we get to that, the radar. It's still a bit dry out this morning. Rain showers will slowly develop as the morning continues on, and to the afternoon and evening, that's when the best chance for some spotty rain showers do develop. Live view of satellite. We can see that the clouds are still present over central New York, but unlike yesterday, those clouds aren't going to be whisking away. In fact, it's going to be a bit more cloudy, and again, we're talking about more rain showers. Still temperatures in the 30s, 37 in Rome, 34 Hamilton, a little warmer out in Syracuse at 42 degrees, but regardless, warm up a few degrees into the mid-40s for this afternoon as those clouds give way to light rain showers this afternoon and this evening, primarily south of I-90, before we're looking at more steady rain showers arriving tonight. Now, heading to tomorrow, again, more rain. But following tomorrow night, that's when more cold air moves in, a nor'easter develops, and that rain will eventually switch over to sleet, freezing rain in some spots, and of course, snow. So we're not done with snow just yet. We're going to talk about when that snow arrives and the potential impacts it could have on travel in that full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New this morning, Decision 2024 polls just opened.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back. It is 6:12. Time now to showcase our Munson Commute Cast. Take a look at road conditions as you head to and from work today. Starting out, a look at those drive times as we look ahead to first I-90 east and west, Verona to Utica, 18-minute drive time. Little Falls to Utica westbound, 21-minute drive time. If you're going along the arterial, drive time looking normal, average speed around 55 miles per hour. 5S, Mohawk Utica, 16 to 18 minutes. Route 49, Utica to Rome, around 11 minutes. Typical so far as we usually see every morning. Route 28, Cooperstown to I-90, roughly just over a half-hour drive. And then finally, if you're heading from Remsen to Utica, average time currently at 18 to 15 minutes with speeds between 50 and 60 miles per hour. And with that, heading to work today, it's looking pretty dry under cloudy skies. Temperatures in the 30s. We warm up into the 40s this afternoon with a chance for rain to develop as we approach the evening commute. So far, no impact expected for travel today, but that will be a different story as we head into tomorrow night and Thursday. A bit more on that in that full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. 1 out of every 36 people.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Tuesday. After a very nice day yesterday, well, Mother Nature gave us an April Fool's joke. That's not going to be sticking around too much longer, as today clouds give way to yet again more clouds and some rain showers by this afternoon and this evening. Downtown Utica right now, overcast skies. There is some clearing up north, which has caused some temperatures to fall a bit quicker than others. Look at those sky watchers checking in across central New York. Todd and Westdale at 39 degrees. Bob and Clinton with 38. Mike and New Hartford with 39. In the North Country, you can kind of see where the clouds have diminished and way up near Inlet. 25 was Sean, 32, a little warmer as you head south of Route 28 in Old Forge with Bill. And the Southern Valley, Stewart and Cooperstown 39, Mark and Milford 37, same with Gary and Skenevis. Scott and Emerson 38, Deb and Hartwick with 36, and Tom and Lawrence also with 36 degrees. Radar is looking pretty quiet right now, but rain to the south will inevitably move up north as we approach the afternoon and evening. But for now, things remain dry and quiet. However, with the active weather arriving tomorrow and into Thursday, a bit of a heads up on potential travel impacts. Today, no major travel issues are expected. Rain develops throughout the day today, but this is going to primarily stay as rain showers. Tomorrow, rain continues a bit more strong and widespread, but with the cool air inevitably mixing in, there will be tricky travel on hilltops with the best chance for tricky travel Wednesday night into early Thursday morning as rain switches over to sleet, freezing rain, and eventually snow in the highest elevations. So heads up for that if you're traveling anytime tomorrow night into Thursday. Bigger picture, here's that rain stays south a little bit, then surges north. As you mentioned yesterday, strong low pressure to the west. This is dragging in all that warm air and that rain, but it starts to transfer energy to a nor'easter to the south. This will drag in more moisture from the west and cooler air from the north, turning things over to entirely snow. But beyond that, things do weaken by Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, so this is not going to be a long duration impact, just a long duration system. Our skycast, you can see here, rain slowly moving in this evening and tonight. Still looking at widespread rainfall for tomorrow before that switchover happens. You can see here some of those pinks and purples switching over to blues, indicating freezing rain and sleet switching over to snow before things do wind down by Thursday afternoon. How much snow? Well, Mohawk Valley missing out on a lot of that. This is a largely elevation-based system with temperatures right around 32 degrees. But you notice where the highest totals are expected in the North Country, in Hamilton County, and parts of Herkimer County. Next 12 hours, temperatures in the 40s with rain showers developing this afternoon. Tonight, lows falling into the low 40s to upper 30s with some scattered rain showers. 7-day forecast, feeling a lot more like March with temperatures in the 30s the next few days. But talk about luck. We have several days of rain, and just when we want the eclipse to be sunny, so far so good. Maybe a few high clouds in the sky, but that shouldn't block out the sun too much. Fingers crossed it does hold.
Because the moon's already going to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Eric. Well, Utica's famous half moons are becoming total eclipse moons. And the news rolls along now.
Now, the news with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us this half hour. I'm Steve McMurray.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
We have a lot to get to this half hour, but we want to start with that Storm Tracker 2 forecast. Very nice yesterday, but the rest of this week's going to be sort of dicey, and the reason there's a lot of folks coming into downtown Utica for the hockey championships, so travel's going to be a big thing, and folks are obviously concerned what's happening with that, so fill us in.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, especially when it comes to tomorrow night and Thursday, especially for the first game against Switzerland with the U.S. Game. The weather tomorrow night is when things get a little bit on the dicey side. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Today, though, enjoy the pretty dry weather to start out this morning. Look at the radar at this point. Temperatures still in the 30s over a lot of the area with mostly dry weather. To the south is where rain showers are a bit more widespread, and that will be the case this afternoon and this evening as more light rain slowly moves in. Regarding cloud cover, well, it was cloudy to start yesterday, but that sun peaked out. A different story today. Those clouds are not going to whisk away. We're talking about cloudy skies for pretty much the entire morning, afternoon, and evening. And again, those clouds giving way to rain. 37 in Rome, 34 Hamilton, with some clearing way up north near Saranac Lake, parts of Inlet too as well. And over the next 12 hours, afternoon time, we're tracking some light rain developing. Following that, tomorrow, widespread steady rainfall Wednesday afternoon. Then by Wednesday night, that's when things get a little bit on the dicey side regarding travel as cold air mixes in and rain switches over to sleet, freezing rain, and eventually snow. Initially in higher elevations before things will slowly mix down to those lower elevations overnight into early Thursday morning. We're going to talk a bit more about that impact and how things are shaping up for the middle of the week straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New this morning,
Welcome back. Time now 6:41, showcasing our weather photo of the day on this Tuesday. And what a great shot here of our bird series still continuing right now. A great shot of a bluebird couple submitted at Rome. The male and female birds right there. Bluebirds. I feel like I always say some of my birds are my favorites, but I feel like bluebirds are up there too as well. Just overall, any birds in general, especially in the wintertime, going out and feeding them when the food is not too plentiful. Should have those bird feeders out there. Submit a photo like that one to WKTV.com/weather/pics for your chance to have your picture included. We're going to show a few more of the next few days before we continue back to our typical weather photos of the day, showcasing the great images submitted all across our beautiful area here in central New York. Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2, a live radar. We're tracking pretty quiet conditions this morning, but as we approach the afternoon, more rain will begin to develop on the lighter side, becoming a bit more heavy by tomorrow, plus a switchover from rain to sleet, freezing rain, and eventually snow by Wednesday night and Thursday. We'll talk all about that in detail straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. A large group of folks
New
gathered.
York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We are looking at cloudy skies. It was a very colorful sunrise a few minutes ago. The colors are slowly diminishing. Let's take a live look at downtown Utica right now. Looking at overcast skies, temperatures in the 30s across a lot of central New York. Officially from our sky watchers, checking in at in Westhill with 39 degrees with Todd, Bob in Clinton with 38, Mike in New Hartford 39 degrees. Up in the North Country, 32 with Bill in Old Forge. With some of the clearing skies, it's cooled down a little bit up in Inlet, currently at 25 degrees. And to the south, Deb in Hartwick 36, Scott in Evanston 38. Same thing with Diane in West Lawrence and Tom in Lawrence as well, also with 36 degrees. And a little warmer as Edward Cooperstown at 39 with Stewart, 37 Mark in Milford, Gary and Skevis with 37 degrees as well. Live look at the radar. Things are quiet and dry here all across central New York early this morning, but to the south is where we were tracking some widespread rain. Now, this will not arrive in our area until later on today. This morning still looks to be on the dry side, but following that, we are looking at pretty unsettled weather over the next few days. And we're going to time it out on this timeline right here to let you know exactly when tricky travel gets a little bit on the dicey side. First off, today, no major travel issues expected. It remains entirely as rain showers for tonight and early tomorrow. Tomorrow, rain continues. However, it will start mixing in with some snow in the highest elevations a little bit later on in the day. Tricky travel possible on hilltops. The trickiest of travel will be Wednesday night into early Thursday as cold air continues to move in from the north, and along with elevated moisture from the east, there could be a return to some rain, freezing rain, sleet, and eventually snow in those highest elevations, slowly working down to those lower elevations below 1,200 feet. Bigger picture, rain to the south, surging up a little bit, although remaining mostly dry for this morning. A few light rain showers later on this afternoon before a lull in the rain happens a little bit before more widespread rain arrives tomorrow. Then you can see here, as we mentioned yesterday, strong low pressure to the west, transferring energy to a coastal low. That will bring in the elevated moisture from the Atlantic and then cooler air from the north, switching things over to entirely snow overnight into early Thursday. Again, this is the time where the highest impacts are expected for travel before things do eventually wind down a little bit by Thursday afternoon, with still some lingering rain and snow showers. More closely in our skycast, you can see initially rain developing, then scattered rain overnight. Widespread rain arriving tomorrow, mixing in with sleet, freezing rain, and snow as that cold air slowly works in, and the temperatures will fall. Snow continues to be widespread as temperatures will remain in the 30s as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Regarding snowfall, elevation based. This is the main focus of the system. 1 to 3 in the lowest elevations. Bullseye, this system will probably be up in the Hamilton County, Herkimer County region in the Adirondack area. Next 12 hours, temperatures in the 40s with clouds giving way to rain showers tonight. Lows falling into the low 40s, upper 30s with scattered rain. 7-day forecast. If you enjoyed the sun yesterday, well, you might want to wait until roughly around Sunday for that sunshine to return as we are tracking, again, rain and snow over the next few days, feeling a bit more like March.
I want to give you credit, folks that don't know what's going on by the heat. I dripped some coffee on myself, and you didn't see me. I saw you again, so I appreciate you maintaining your composure there. Great news about the eclipse. Looks like it's going to be clear. But this week had just some, not like we hear the term nor'easter, and I think everybody gets very concerned.
Not every nor'easter is the same. It's a northeaster low, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But just keep your eye to the sky and be careful, because winter is not, it's officially over, but not really. Right?
Not in central New York. It's never over until like roughly late April.
Not over till it's over. That's a Yogi Berra reference for you. All right, thanks a lot. Well, a New Jersey company is proud to empower and
Now, the news with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve McMurray.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
We've got a lot to get to this morning. Actually had reports of a breaking news, a structure fire on Catherine Street in East Utica. We're going to try and get some more information for you by the end of this show, but obviously I have more for you coming up at noon. But in addition to that, some other stuff going on. We want to get the forecast first. So what are we looking for?
Yeah, right now we're talking about cloudy skies, temperatures right around the 30s. It's not going to be nearly as warm today, and unfortunately not nearly as sunny, as instead of afternoon sun, we're talking about afternoon rain. So we're talking about April showers today. Look at the radar at this point. Where is that rain taking place? Well, it's not in our area just yet, but that will change as we head into the next few hours into the afternoon. We are talking about some steady light rainfall moving through. In fact, zooming out a little bit, you can see that's where the rain is falling, not surging north until the next few hours. But as I mentioned before, we're talking about clouds this morning, but unlike yesterday, those clouds are not going to diminish by the afternoon. We're still talking about cloudy skies throughout the day. And you can see here, temperatures in the 30s, sunshine up north near Watertown and up in the North Country in the High Peaks region. But down here locally, we're talking about clouds, and you can see here, 2 to 6 p.m., some light rainfall taking place. Following today, we're looking at more rain showers arriving tomorrow, then the potential for that rain to mix in with some sleet, freezing rain, and snow by Wednesday night and into Thursday. Highest chance for turkey travel during that time. We'll, of course, talk about that in a lot more detail on any travel impacts you could be expecting over the next few days in that full forecast straight ahead. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New this morning, Decision 2020.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We are starting out today with cloudy skies and temperatures in the 30s. Unlike yesterday, though, the sun is not going to be peeking out this afternoon. Instead, we're talking about some light rain. A live look at downtown Utica from our camera on the Nexus Center. Still see here, generally cloudy skies, and those temperatures from our sky watchers reporting all across central New York are still relatively in the 30s. 39 degrees with Todd out in Westdale, 38 degrees Bob in Clinton, 39 with Mike in New Hartford. Up in the North Country, Bill and Sean with 32 degrees and 25 degrees, where those skies are a little bit more clear up in Inlet. And into the south, Otsego County, 39 with Stewart and Cooperstown, 36 with Deb and Hartwick. Same for Tom and Diane and Lawrence and West Lawrence. Scott and Evanston, 38. And then Mark and Milford, 37. Gary in Skenevis also with 37 degrees. A live look at the radar. Things are quiet and dry right now. Zooming out, we're looking at low pressure from the southwest, bringing in some rain showers. Not initially this morning, but as we head in the afternoon, things will get a little bit more on the damp side with some light rain. And with the timeline we'll be expecting for the next few days, we want to let you guys know exactly when travel gets a little bit on the tricky side. First off, today, no major travel issues. We got rain developing in the late afternoon, and then besides that, just typical rainy situations. No issues with that. But as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday, tricky travel in hilltops as cool air mixes in. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, a different story as more cold air mixes into the lower elevations, producing tricky travel for a lot of central New York during that time frame. Our Skycast shows initially rain developing over our area tonight and into early tomorrow. More widespread rain arrives tomorrow afternoon before that cool air slowly works in as that nor'easter slowly strengthens off the coast. And then the warm air erodes near the surface. we're talking about some light snow to moderate snow, turning to heavier snow in higher elevations heading into the overnight hours. Thursday, though, eventually dries out. But you can see here the potential for snow, mainly an elevation-based system. Next 12 hours into the 40s with rain showers developing, and then heading into your 7-day forecast, remaining pretty unsettled for the next few days.
Joining us right now, and a beautiful day yesterday, and a gorgeous sunrise this morning for those of you that should have been watching the news this morning. Gorgeous sunrise, but then the clouds started rolling in. You know what that means.
Yeah, and we got some rain arriving. The obvious red skies in the morning. Sailors take warning. Yep. That'll be the case for today. Although it's not going to be messy out there, just some light rain expected to fall. A live look right now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. The snow, or at least the rain, is falling primarily south of Norwich, Oneonta, down there near Binghamton, and it's slowly working its way into parts of central New York at this point. So for now, we're looking mainly dry in the Mohawk Valley, but again, that would change heading in the next few hours. The good news is, though, we are far away from any severe weather. This same system producing multiple tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings down in West Virginia, pretty much half the state under a severe thunderstorm warning with an intense squall line right there. So pretty intense storms to the south. Up here, just some light rain moving in. Around the state, this temperature is still hovering in the mid-40s with, you can see, rain to the south, clouds here in the Mohawk Valley, and sunshine to the north. Unfortunately, though, the sun will stay to the north and clouds will continue to move in with more rain showers. As you can see here, lots of light rain lingering into the evening and overnight. We're tracking more widespread steady rainfall tomorrow, and then the potential for tricky travel tomorrow night into Thursday as cold air begins to move in. We'll talk about the potential for wintry mix and snow straight ahead. Steve?
Eric, thanks. Decision.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon and welcome back, everyone. We are looking at cloudy skies, temperatures in the 40s with rain developing to the south, and that will be the main weather system we'll be seeing from now until roughly Friday night and Saturday. Just overall pretty damp weather pattern set in stone. Live in Cooperstown right now, it's still a bit dry in some spots. The rain is actually falling a little bit on Main Street right there, and currently 43 degrees. And we remain in the 40s for a lot of central New York for pretty much the next few hours. Average high this time of year at 50 degrees. So it's a little bit below average for early April standards. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Everything is looking pretty dry up north, but you can see that rain continuing to push in from the south. And take a look at how big this weather system is. This is all one giant low pressure right here. Look at all that snow on the backside of it out near parts of Wisconsin and Iowa. Then a dry slot in the middle, severe weather in West Virginia, and here we are in the northeastern edge seeing primarily some rain. So we're getting a bit of the quiet side of the system, but that's temporary. As we look ahead to the next few days, we could be seeing some impacts to travel. First off today, though, no impacts for your afternoon or evening commute. You're driving anywhere tonight, things look pretty okay. Tomorrow, rain starts to mix in with some sleet, freezing rain, potentially some snow, especially in the hilltops initially. That's when those temperatures will cool a little bit more quick. Just a heads up for that with tricky travel Wednesday, primarily Wednesday evening. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, this is the best chance for central New York to see impactful weather regarding rain, sleet, freezing rain, and potentially some snow. And if the snow falls, it will be that wet, clumpy kind that usually is very slushy on those roadways. So the best chance for tricky travel will be Wednesday night, early Thursday. Things will gradually wind down by Thursday afternoon. And pointing out in our Skycast here, too, we can see that rain slowly arriving from the south, widespread as we head into tomorrow. Still a few scattered showers overnight. Then, as that low pressure out to the west we mentioned yesterday weakens, it transfers energy to the coastal low, and that's what will move in the elevated moisture from the Atlantic and some cooler temperatures from the north, causing those rain showers to cool down into sleet, freezing rain, and then eventually over to snow during the overnight hours as we head into early Thursday morning. But how much snow are we talking about? Well, roughly 1 to 3 inches in the Mohawk Valley, lowest elevation. This is an elevation-based event with those temperatures still struggling to fall below freezing. Again, it is still early April. It's very hard to get impactful snowstorms lingering for that long or producing a lot of snow in the valleys this late in the season. But you can see here, up in the Adirondack region, the best chance of seeing 6 inches or more of snow. So again, we start out in the 30s with cloudy skies, rain developing this afternoon and continuing into the evening hours tonight into the early morning tomorrow with lows in the low 40s to upper 30s. 7-day forecast, pretty blah for the next few days, Steve. It's looking like 30s, rain, snow, wintry mix, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But the luck that we have, the fact that we have all these days of rain and snow, and we get time for the eclipse, and it's clearing out. We get some sunshine moving in, and fingers crossed that the sun still holds just in time for the viewing.
All right, so hopefully good things come to those who wait, right? Is that how that works? All right, we'll see how it pans out. Thanks a lot, Eric. Well, we turn to Decision 2024. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us, and you were mentioning rain is on the way. We had a great day yesterday, but
yeah,
all good things must come to an end, right?
Yeah, rain continued to arrive, and now we're going to be entering a pretty dull weather pattern. And while we're still in this dull weather pattern, I figured I'd mention, you want to take a guess at how far along the year has gone, between 0 and 100%. How far along has it gone?
As far as amount of precipitation?
Well, how long has a year gone between like January through December, the overall time? 25, 50%, 75%?
28%.
Yeah, almost right in the money. Exactly 25% complete this year is so far. I think the year is already flying by.
Oh, yeah.
It's already April at this point. And yes, we're still talking about rain showers. In fact, let's take a look at the radar right now and see how things are shaping up. Still looking at rain primarily south of the Mohawk Valley, slowly inching its way north. You can see mainly south of Route 20 where the majority of the precip is taking place. But following that, we are looking at temperatures still in the 30s heading into tonight before we warm back up in the upper 30s by tomorrow. A reminder, too, this is still the same system producing some pretty nasty weather down in West Virginia, as well as winter weather way out in parts of Wisconsin. But here locally, you can see here, 40s with the sun is shining, 52 in Watertown. In fact, the warmest temperature in the entire upstate New York region, 45 Hamilton, 46 in Rome. Over the next 12 hours, we're still tracking those rain showers coming to an end briefly before they return yet again more steady by early tomorrow morning, lasting all throughout Wednesday afternoon, more steady at times, and then following that, a changeover from rain to a wintry mix and eventually snow that could cause travel impacts. We'll talk a bit more about that straight ahead. Steve?
Eric, thanks. President Biden held a call with China.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, everyone. It's turned out to be a dry start to the day today in the Mohawk Valley. Areas south, a bit different story. It's actually already starting to rain in Oneonta right now from our camera. Taking a look over Oneonta atop Hartwick College. The rain is falling, and overall, this will be the start of a pattern that won't exit our region until roughly Friday and Saturday, with that unsettled weather still sticking around. This afternoon and this evening, we're talking about temperatures in the 40s, cooling down in the mid to low 40s for this afternoon and this evening. Average high this time of year at 50 degrees, but we're still looking at pretty unsettled weather on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. This will continue to sweep a little bit more to the north and east as the afternoon continues on. So locations up in the North Country will start to see their fair share of rain a little bit this evening, with the best chance of rain still falling south of Route 20 and I-90. Bigger picture, though, you can see just how massive this system is. This caused severe weather down in parts of the Midwest. You can see it taking place right now in West Virginia. The backside of the strong low pressure producing lots of snow in parts just south of Green Bay in Wisconsin, Iowa, southeastern tip of Minnesota. A dry slot here in Ohio. But you can see we've got a little bit of the I would say not so severe side, with just some light rain taking place off this system. So far we're spared for today. Tomorrow and Thursday, we could be seeing some impacts to travel. Today, no major travel issues still expected. We're talking about rain and light rain at times. Tomorrow, Rain continues, however, cold air will slowly mix in. That'll cause the potential for tricky travel, especially in higher elevations above 1,200 feet. Then on Wednesday night, rain and snow begin to mix in with some wintry mix as well, and the warm air erodes near the surface, potentially causing more tricky travel, more widespread compared to just hilltops during the evening hours Wednesday. So in our Skycast, we're talking about that rain arriving from the south today, entering parts of the North Country briefly, but the better chance for rain arrives tomorrow, with widespread rain pushing through Wednesday morning, lingering throughout the day. Then you can see that cold air begin to mix in as that low pressure transfers energy from west to east, producing a nor'easter, which will cause cooler temperatures, a northwesterly wind, and eventually snow to mix in parts of the Mohawk Valley and especially the North Country. This is an elevation-based system. We're talking 1 to 3 in the lowest elevations in the Utica-Rome area. But as you head up north to Hamilton and Lewis counties, actually I should say Hamilton County and Herkimer County, we're talking around 6 or so inches of snow or more based off those surface temperatures. Next 12 hours in the 40s for the remainder of the afternoon, overnight falling down into the upper 30s to low 40s. And your 7-day forecast, it's still looking pretty unsettled between now and parts of Saturday. 50s on Sunday, a high of 56 on Monday. It's looking to be a beautiful day so far for the eclipse, which we couldn't have looked out any better for that.
All right, so let's just hope that if whatever speed that system's moving at, that it either doesn't speed up
if it goes
or too
textbook,
slow.
we're in the clear. It all has to go to plan.
All right, let's hope that stays that way. That'd be great. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, extreme weather is moving across much of the plains. That's what Eric was mentioning. And much of the south as well, with tornadoes, thunderstorms, flash floods, you name it, impacting tens of millions of Americans. NBC's Morgan Chesky has more from Barnsdall, Oklahoma, where a twister touched down overnight.
Overnight, severe storms pounding the central and southern plains, bringing rain, hail, and even tornadoes. A reported twister hitting near Kingfisher, Oklahoma. The dramatic funnel seen outlined in the sky. And a tornado leaving a trail of wreckage on the ground in the town of Barnsdall. Some families rushing to take shelter in a nearby school.
They were going to stay there at the house, and I was like, I can't lose you. You guys got to go with me.
Oklahoma also pelted by fierce hail as the storm made its way through. In Springfield, Missouri, another possible tornado tracked overnight, while heavy rains battered the city. And in North Texas, hail rained down as big as tennis balls. These storms all part of a multi-day severe weather outbreak impacting more than 69 million Americans, stretching from the Mississippi and Ohio valleys all the way to the East Coast. This following massive storms in Southern California, where over the weekend, some highways were left impassable. In Los Angeles, the city experienced its wettest back-to-back years since the late 1800s. Now, Mother Nature's fury moving eastward, leaving more destruction in its wake.
That was NBC's Morgan Chesky.
News with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
One day closer to a big change in our weather, and we have a better understanding tonight of what we can expect.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis is tracking from the Weather Center. Bill, good evening.
Yeah, things are holding in line here with the forecast. We're talking about rain turning over to snow for tomorrow, especially tomorrow night. Winter storm watches remain in effect for higher elevations. We think this is going to be an elevated snowfall. The higher elevations are expected to see several inches of snow, while the lower elevations, including the Mohawk Valley, are expecting to get mainly rain out of this. And again, we're going to continue to keep an eye on whether or not these watches become warnings or advisories here over the next 12 hours. The National Weather Service is ultimately responsible for deciding that. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread steady rain is going to continue in central New York. We'll see rain throughout tonight as well as tomorrow. The changeover takes place close to dark tomorrow. Between about 7 and 9 p.m. for most areas. It's a little bit sooner in the higher elevations. And again, it's an elevation-driven snowfall. The hilltops expecting more than the valley locations. Heading into this evening, rain showers, temperatures in the 30s. We're tracking cloudy and cool weather along with wind. We'll let you know when the weather starts to clear out. A look at that forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Utica firefighters are investigating.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are continuing to track some steady rain that will be continuing tonight. It's tomorrow, especially tomorrow night, where conditions could become slippery as rain turns to snow. The impact looks to be primarily Wednesday night and primarily in higher elevations. So if you're traveling tomorrow, I'm not expecting any big issues traveling-wise. But again, things do change tomorrow night as a nor'easter develops and moves up the Atlantic seaboard. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We're seeing rain from a storm system to our west, and that will be the case heading throughout tonight. A live look in downtown Utica, a temperature of 43 degrees, cloudy skies, some rain showers around. The winds will be picking up as we head into the next 24 hours as, again, low pressure develops to the south. It's a windy day tomorrow. The winds are going to continue on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, although they will be less than what we're dealing with on Wednesday. Temperatures are above freezing everywhere, even though it is a chilly day. Dallasville 42, Little Falls 44. Across Southern Valley, Sherburne 43, Oneonta 39, and Cooperstown with 40 degrees. We have low pressure to the west that will move east. You can see this big swirl in the atmosphere. That's where the center of the storm is. Another one will redevelop along the Atlantic coast, and it's that one that's going to turn winds into the north and bring in some colder air that will create a changeover from rain to snow as we head into tomorrow night. Tonight, scattered rain showers, overnight lows in the upper 30s. It's wet Wednesday morning, widespread rain. Just a chilly, raw day. Temperatures will be in the 30s throughout the afternoon. It's not until near dark, so 7 p.m., we start to see that mix to snow in the higher terrain. And then eventually this works its way into the valley floor, the Mohawk Valley, overnight and into Thursday morning. 7 a.m. Thursday, wet snow. Temperatures are going to be near or just above freezing, so I think the snow is going to have a hard time sticking for perhaps most of this event. But again, there will be a few slippery spots, especially in the higher terrain. Snow showers and rain showers on Thursday as low pressure continues to move to the north. It's going to park itself in the northeast, so we'll be talking about some on and off rain and snow showers here over the next several days. As far as the snowfall map goes, we haven't made any changes on this since yesterday. Still thinking a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation for the Mohawk Valley, 3 to 6 inches possible along hilltop locations, and 6 inches or more in the Adirondacks. Again, this is for Wednesday night. We'll see some accumulation on Thursday too, but it looks generally light, a lot lighter than that. Rain showers tonight, low of 36. The winds pick up as we head into the day tomorrow. Rain continues, a high of 38. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Rain and snow showers continue throughout the rest of the week. And even into Saturday, temperatures will warm up though. High pressure builds in, and things look okay for the upcoming solar eclipse, although I am looking carefully at this, and we may see some high clouds. It's kind of a new development here, moving in from the west. We're still 6 days out. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Bill, thank you.
Millions of Americans have been warned to be ready for severe weather.
Dan Scheneman reports parts of the country are already recovering from dangerous spring storms.
Much of the nation threatened by weather. Nearly 70 million Americans in the path of a severe weather system. Northwest of Oklahoma City, a funnel cloud was spotted. Powerful storms also hit in Osage County, north of Tulsa. Some families had to brave the elements to reach safety.
Everything, my van was going to the right, and all the rain and everything, it was pretty scary.
At daybreak, crews were already working to restore power while residents surveyed the damage.
I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen tree branches down before, but nothing like it is today.
More powerful weather near Evansville, Indiana. This home suffered severe damage, while one driver said strong winds blew out her car windows.
Gravel in my head, there's glass in my head, you know, whatever, and mud, there's still mud behind my ears.
Thousands were left without power in central Kentucky when a line of storms downed trees and power lines.
And all of a sudden there was a ton of wind, and then they both came down, and the power line like flicked against my window and sparked.
Many in the path of this latest severe weather have been warned. More could be on the way. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
Coming up is meteorologist Bill Curtis.
So we're talking about this upcoming nor'easter and how it does produce mainly rain, but the higher elevations are talking about snowfall. In fact, the potential of several inches of snow in the higher terrain. This is what the atmosphere is going to look like tomorrow night, where surface temperatures, at least the valley locations, look to be just above freezing, about 34 to 35 degrees, but then higher elevations are below freezing. This is the kind of setup that is all too common in late season snowstorms. Again, this one is looking to be mainly a hilltop event heading into tomorrow night. Let's talk about the timing of the solar eclipse on Monday. It begins just after 2 o'clock as the moon casts its shadow over the sun. The maximum eclipse locally ranges between 97 to 100%, and that takes place right around 3:25. The eclipse comes to an end just before 4:30 as the moon completely moves away from the sun. And at this point, sky conditions look favorable. But again, I do want to remind folks we are still 6 days out, and in the world of weather forecasting, things can still change. It's not time to lock in anything at this point. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread light rain continues across central New York, and that's going to be the case heading into this evening. If you're taking the dog out for a walk, keep the umbrella handy. Temperatures will be in the low 40s. Tonight's featured dog Marley from Salisbury. This is brought to you by Nye Automotive Group. We're tracking snowfall amounts for tomorrow night. Look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
The former St. Mary's
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We continue to track widespread rain, which is going to turn over to snow as we head into tomorrow night. But I want to make some special focus on the wind here and take a look at how that is going to be changing. Wind gusts will be picking up throughout tonight, gusting to about 35 to 40 miles an hour overnight. And the winds look strongest Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Looking at wind gusts primarily from the east between about 40 to 45 miles an hour. There could be some gusts close to 50, which could be just enough to cause some scattered power outages, but I think that's going to be the exception rather than the rule. Still, windy weather tomorrow. In addition to that, we have rain that's going to be falling throughout most of the day. That rain turns over to snow after dark for most areas, especially the Mohawk Valley. It's going to take longer, we think, for that rain to turn over to snow in the Mohawk Valley, creating ultimately less snowfall in lower elevations. But the hilltops, conditions are expected to be pretty tricky with wet snow and tricky travel Wednesday night and into early Thursday. So live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread light rain continues. That will be the case for most of tonight. Live look in downtown Utica. Temperature of 43 degrees. Our sky watchers are checking in with temperatures above freezing. Mike in New Hartford 43, Whitesboro 40. Looking at the southern valleys here, 39 degrees in Worcester. As we look at the radar and satellite image, low pressure is going to develop off the Atlantic coast. The low pressure center that's going to be creating most of our weather tomorrow night hasn't formed yet. We've got an area of low pressure to the west. That'll stay to the west, but it's going to cause a secondary area to develop along the Atlantic coast as a nor'easter, and that will rapidly intensify as it heads to the north. And as it does so, it turns winds into the north, creating some colder weather and causing that changeover. Tonight, widespread light rain. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 30s. Rain for most of Wednesday, a windy, cold afternoon. Temperatures remain above freezing. Rain turns over to snow as we head towards dark Wednesday, starting at higher elevations and then working to the valley floor throughout the night. Conditions are expected to be slippery first thing Thursday morning, but because temperatures will climb above freezing pretty quickly, I think the impact won't be very high, especially along the lower elevations. We'll climb into the upper 30s. A chilly day, but above freezing, which will minimize impact on the roadways. Snowfall accumulation, 1 to 3 inches for the Mohawk Valley for tomorrow night. 3 to 6 inches of accumulation expected for hilltop locations, and 6 inches or more in the forecast heading into the Adirondacks for Wednesday night. An early look at Monday's cloud cover forecast. We're getting some signs that it's looking mainly clear for the solar eclipse. However, there could be some high clouds involved here too. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that over the next several days. We are still 6 days out, which is a long time in the world of weather forecasting. Rain showers tonight, low of 36. Tomorrow, looking at rain and windy conditions, temperatures in the upper 30s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 30s on Thursday, Friday. Lingering showers Saturday, 44. The weather clears out for Sunday, sunshine, and again, fingers crossed that the weather holds for Monday. The next weather system brings rain looking ahead to Tuesday. We'll be right back.
The news with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
We start tonight in the Weather Center as a midweek storm is starting tonight, and it's going to continue through Thursday.
Yeah, it starts out as rain, but Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis tracking it all from the Weather Center. Bill, good evening.
Yeah, that's right. We're tracking rain for most of this. Some of this does turn over to snow, and we still have winter storm watches in effect for higher terrain. The Mohawk Valley, I think more of this falls as rain as opposed to snow. So travel troubles will be limited in when this is going to be happening. This is mainly for tomorrow night and very early Thursday. Conditions outside right now, widespread light, steady rain. That'll be the case overnight and into most of the day tomorrow. The winds will be picking up too. And again, we're going to continue to track rain, wind, and eventually snow Wednesday night. This is mainly going to impact higher elevations in terms of locally heavy snowfall. I think a lot of us are not expecting a whole lot of snow out of this, but at least some. Rain showers heading into this evening, temperatures above freezing. We're tracking how strong the winds get as we head into Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, along with an early look at the eclipse forecast, and that's coming up. Kristen, back to you.
New at 6, New Hartford police have identified.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are tracking widespread rain, wind, and eventually snow as we head into the next 24 hours. Let's take a look at what to expect. Again, rain and wind continue tonight. No big traveling issues. Rain turns over to snow late tomorrow. For most of us, it's after 7 o'clock. It starts in the higher elevations and works into the valley floor as we get into Wednesday night. That's where we could see some tricky travel through Thursday morning. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread steady rain continues across central New York. That will be the case throughout tonight and most of tomorrow. Our current temperature in downtown Utica is 42. Again, just dreary conditions out there. The winds will be picking up tonight. Wind gusts tomorrow could top between 45 to 50 miles an hour from the east. So that's strong enough where we could see some minor damage with that, some scattered power outages. I think that's not going to be the norm. I think most wind gusts tomorrow will be about 40 to 45 miles an hour. The winds will be less, but it's still windy. It's still breezy here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Low pressure is going to develop and move in tonight from the south. While the storm presently is located to the west, there's going to be a second one that develops off the Atlantic coast. That's the nor'easter. It hasn't quite gotten its act together yet, but it will over the next 24 hours, and then it moves up the coast. That's the one that's responsible for the changeover as it turns our wind direction into the north and drags in some cold air. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, widespread light rain tonight. Overnight lows will stay above freezing. Will be in the upper 30s Wednesday morning. Steady rain for most of Wednesday. Windy, just kind of a raw day. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s, but temperatures will cool off throughout the day. We'll see rain turn over to snow in higher elevations first at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then to the valley floor throughout the course of tomorrow night. Temperatures will generally be above freezing, so the snow is going to have a hard time sticking, at least at first, but I think it will. By Thursday morning, some slippery spots for the morning commute. And then throughout the day, snow turns back over to rain showers, and as temperatures climb above freezing, the impact will be lower on roadways. The snowfall forecast for Wednesday night, we're still thinking a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation for the Mohawk Valley, 3 to 6 inches for the hilltop locations north and south of the valley, 6 inches or more possible in the Adirondacks. An early look at the eclipse forecast. This is the path of totality. We overlaid cloud cover. This is generally high cloudiness on Monday. that might be a factor here. But again, it's still several days away. Things look okay for now, but again, with this being still several days out, we're going to continue to keep you posted with any changes. Rain showers tonight, low of 36. Tomorrow, rain, wind, temperatures in the upper 30s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. A cloudy, unsettled weather pattern Thursday, Friday, Saturday, on and off rain and snow showers. The weather improves Sunday. We should see some sunshine. And again, fingers crossed that we get some sunshine at 3:25 Monday afternoon. That's when the eclipse is taking place locally. Rain showers return on Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Forecast, we bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. Rain's out there now, but this is part of a bigger storm that's going to last a couple of days.
Yes, and we're going to be tracking not only rain, but snow as well as wind here over the next 24 hours. Let me show you some of the latest information from the National Weather Service. And let me grab the clicker here. Looking at some light rain showers that are moving through central New York. The Weather Service has kind of given us an interesting map tonight with a lot of different colors. Basically, the National Weather Service out of Binghamton has upgraded Oneida, Madison, Chenango, and Otsego County into winter weather advisories. Albany is still waiting to make a decision here based on winter storm watches and warnings, so we'll wait for an update from them, hopefully by later this evening. The live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread light rain is taking place. Rain continues tonight. Rain continues tomorrow. It does turn over to snow tomorrow night. That's when we can see some impacts on the roads. It looks like the higher elevations will see the primary impact in terms of snowfall, but we all deal with the wind tonight too. Looking at some rain showers as we head into tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 30s. Tracking those winds, rain, and how much snow accumulates. So look at the forecast coming out. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. 13 hours.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We wanted to start with the timeline of what to expect over the next 24 hours. Rain and some wind develops tonight, no major travel issues. Tomorrow, that rain mixes with snow late. In fact, some of this could even mix in with sleet heading towards sunset. Tricky travel, mainly along hilltop locations. And then Wednesday night, that's when we'll see that transition from rain to snow. Tricky travel is expected across central New York. Let's talk about the winds. Winds will be picking up tonight. The winds coming in from the east at around 25 to 35 miles an hour overnight. The winds increase throughout the day tomorrow. We could see winds, peak wind gusts between about 45 to maybe even 50 miles an hour in the Mohawk Valley. So that's enough where it could create a few scattered power outages. The winds will become lighter as we head into Wednesday night. So live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread scattered, generally light rain is taking place, and that will be the case heading into tonight. You can see a dreary downtown Utica, cloudy, 41 degrees, the current temperature. Getting ready for spring. Well, obviously we're talking about winter weather here, but the one thing you want to keep out, the shovel, as well as the snow brush, snow tires. Hopefully you didn't change those yet. And as well as the winter jacket. Most of us will not need the snowblower for this upcoming winter snowfall. But again, some of us will in the higher elevations. As we look at the radar and satellite image, low pressure is going to develop tomorrow along the Atlantic seaboard, and that's going to be a nor'easter, which will cause the majority of heavy precipitation and allow for a changeover to snow with winds turning into the north. Tonight, light rain showers, overnight lows drop down into the upper 30s. Rain for the morning commutes, generally light. Rain becomes steadier and heavier throughout the day. Temperatures will hold in the upper 30s. It turns windy in the afternoon. Rain turns over to snow in the higher elevations first around 7 o'clock in the evening, and then down to the valley floor overnight. Again, slippery conditions are expected Thursday morning, widespread steady snow. The snow has a hard time sticking on the roads with temperatures near or above freezing, so I'm not really expecting any big traveling issues. There may be some slippery roads for a brief period of time Thursday morning, but again, as we go above freezing, I think things get better pretty quickly as we head into the afternoon. In terms of snowfall, we haven't made any changes to the map tonight. Thinking 1 to 3 inches for the Mohawk Valley, 3 to 6 inches for the higher elevations north and south of the Mohawk Valley, 6 inches or more possible in the Adirondacks. And again, this is for Wednesday night. Quick update on the eclipse. It looks generally clear on Monday afternoon. However, we might have some high clouds. We have to keep an eye on a weather system to the west that could bring some high clouds and potentially impact viewing. We'll keep you posted. Tonight, rain showers, low of 36. Tomorrow, looking at rain and windy conditions, 38 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Cloudy skies Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Rain and snow showers. The weather improves Sunday. And again, things look pretty good right now for Monday. But again, still several days away. Always like to throw that out. Been doing this for 20 years, Jay. A 6-day forecast has no guarantees.
No guarantees, but upper 50s would be nice for the comfortability. Comfortability.
Yes.
That's a word, I think. But did you know, by the way, countdown, it's ticking. Did you know that there were going to be scientists studying how animals react?
Really?
You probably did know that because you're a scientist. But did you also know that our old friend Violet Skyber, you know her, we know her, she went to the Rosemont Gifford Zoo and met some of the animals who may be excited for that totality, just like we are.
Whether it flies, has a furry face, or just flops around, animals at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo will be just as important to watch the day of the eclipse as the sky above.
So the eclipse is a really interesting time for us because we know a lot of animals, most animals, react to daylight and nighttime. The flamingos tend to get a little more active right before dark. The mallards that come from Onondaga Lake or the Seneca River, they usually leave at dusk. It'll just be really exciting to walk around and see if you notice any differences in the animals.
Differences like a little song or two.
So we have two special animals here that may have an interesting reaction during the day of the eclipse. Can you tell me about them?
Sure. This is Fatima. She's taking a little bit of a nap right now, and her mate Abe is sitting over in the corner. And on the day of the eclipse, hopefully they're going to do what they usually do in the wild, which is a duet call. They have this amazing long song that they do together, and I think that's probably going to happen the day of the eclipse. One other species I would focus on are the elephants. Because of their social structure is so important, and it's very similar to ours. You know, the familiar grouping is really, really important to each other in the group. And they react like a lot of the animals do at night. Here at the zoo, when it's getting darker, they want to go inside and get their dinner. That's their eating time. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Exciting to see and be a part of. And remember, if you're looking up, also look around. Is it us watching the animals watching us, or is it all of us just looking up to see the show in the sky?
We love to talk about natural phenomenon and things that people and animals react to. It's part of what we do in our missions, it's part of what we do in our education, and this is a really cool event. You know, an eclipse doesn't happen very often, and this is certainly one that's going to be exciting.
Coming up next, headed to the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. We're dealing with a winter weather alert now for the next couple of days.
Rain, snow, wind. I think rain and wind will be the biggest issues here. Let's take a look at what the National Weather Service has out tonight. Winter weather advisories have been issued by the Binghamton office for Oneida, Madison, Shenango, and Otsego County. We're still waiting on Albany to decide to issue either advisories or upgrade to warnings for northern Herkimer, northern Fulton County, but they did for Hamilton County, so we'll wait on that. But the bottom line is the highest impact here looks to be tomorrow night, and it's a combination of rain and snow. There might even be some sleet mixing in too. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Some light rain out there that continues tonight through tomorrow. It's not until tomorrow night that we see that changeover take place. And again, the highest snowfall remains to be had in higher elevations, especially east of Utica into the Adirondacks. Tonight, rain continues, overnight lows in the mid to upper 30s. We're tracking the wind and how strong that gets, along with the latest snowfall forecast. And that's coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. 12 hours away.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're laying out the timeline on what to expect over the next 24 hours. Tonight, rain and wind. Not expecting any major travel issues. Tomorrow, rain continues. It starts to mix with snow and sleet towards sunset. Tricky travel is expected along hilltops. And then tomorrow night, winds continue. We'll see a transition over to snow and tricky travel overnight into Thursday morning. Let's focus on the winds here. Tonight, the winds will continue with gusts between about 35 to 40 miles an hour, generally from the east. Tomorrow, the winds continue to pick up. We could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles an hour, especially in the Mohawk Valley, just high enough where we could see some scattered power outages. The winds will start to diminish as we head into Wednesday night. But again, they're going to be around over the next several days. The wind is not going anywhere. It's just the strongest winds will be tomorrow afternoon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread scattered rain continues. The dreary downtown Utica, current temperature of 41. Don't put any of your winter gear away just yet, although we'll probably not need the snowblower, but you'll probably need the shovel and the snow brush and the snow tires here with this next winter snowfall. So we look at the radar and satellite image. We've got an area of low pressure that will be developing to the south. This is going to become a nor'easter. So all this rain in Pennsylvania will be consolidating off the Atlantic seaboard, and that's going to be the catalyst that brings snow to central New York. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight. Rain continues. Overnight lows drop down into the 30s. Rain for most of Wednesday. Just a dreary, windy, raw day. Temperatures continue to cool off throughout the day. By evening time, we'll see this transition from rain to snow, and there could be a period of sleet mixing in too, especially around sunset. So again, some messy roads overnight. Thursday morning, widespread snow. This snow is going to have a hard time sticking to the roads with surface temperatures above freezing. I'm not expecting a really high impact on travel. There may be some slippery spots for a few hours in the morning, but things should get better pretty quickly. No changes to the snowfall map here. Thinking a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation in the Mohawk Valley, 3 to 6 inches possible along the hilltops. The southern valleys, some of the latest trends are starting to lower the numbers here. We'll keep an eye on that. We may end up lowering the numbers to the south, but it still looks like 6 inches or more of snowfall is possible in the Adirondacks. Looking ahead to the eclipse on Monday, just want to give you an idea of how things are trending with cloud cover. We may have some high clouds in place. It looks dry, but some high clouds spilling in from the west may impact viewing. Again, it's still several days away, but this is one thing that we're going to be watching pretty closely. Rain showers tonight, low of 36. Tomorrow, rain, windy, 38 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Clouds, showers continue Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The weather starts to improve on Sunday. High pressure comes in, and again, fingers crossed for Monday. The next weather system here on Tuesday. But yeah, can you imagine if the eclipse was tomorrow or Thursday or Friday or Saturday? Yeah, it's 0%.
Yeah, but the time is ticking down.
Yeah.
We're counting down right now. As a matter of fact, Bill, did you know that there are scientists that are studying how animals react to all this?
Somebody's got to do it. Right?
And someone we know, yes, meteorologist Violet Skyber was at the Rosemont Gifford Zoo and met a few of the animals who may be excited for totality just like we are.
Whether it flies, has a furry face, or just flops around, animals at the Rosemont Gifford Zoo will be just as important to watch the day of the eclipse as the sky above.
So the eclipse is a really interesting time for us because we know a lot of animals, most animals, react to daylight and nighttime. The flamingos tend to get a little more active right before dark. The mallards that come from Onondaga Lake or the Seneca River, they usually leave at dusk. It'll just be really exciting to walk around and see if you notice any differences in the animals.
Differences like a little song or two.
So we have two special animals here that may have an interesting reaction during the day of the eclipse. Can you tell me about them?
Sure. This is Fatima. She's taking a little bit of a nap right now, and her mate Abe is sitting over in the corner. And on the day of the eclipse, hopefully they're going to do what they usually do in the wild, which is a duet call. They have this amazing long song that they do together, and I think that's probably going to happen the day of the eclipse. One other species I would focus on are the elephants. Because of their social structure is so important, and it's very similar to ours. You know, the familiar grouping is really, really important to each other in the group. And they react like a lot of the animals do at night. Here at the zoo, when it's getting darker, they want to go inside and get their dinner. I mean, that's their eating time. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Exciting to see and be a part of. And remember, if you're looking up, also look around. Is it us watching the animals watching us, or is it all of us just looking up to see the show in the sky?
We love to talk about natural phenomenon and things that people and animals react to. It's part of what we do in our missions. It's part of what we do in our education. And this is a really cool event. You know, an eclipse doesn't happen very often.